Here we go again, folks. Here we go again. I keep getting taken down. I don't know what to do about it. The primary channel that I go on, and Rumble is the secondary. How can my primary feed get knocked off and not my secondary? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell anybody, but I'm not doing anything to make this happen. And I have a lot to talk about. But as usual, nobody wants me to talk about what I have to talk about. I'm saying that the arrests are going to happen whether they like it or not. So how about if I put this picture up of Trump? Maybe they'll like that a little better. Hi, folks. Sherry, Robin, Linda, Rain. I guess this is another live stream on YouTube, a separate live stream. But I believe it is a continuous feed on Rumble. I do not know. No, it's something happening in this setup here. So anyway, we're getting people to come back in. Whoa. Trying to see who, we lost a bunch of people. And hopefully they'll be able to find us. But anyway, I'll get to the issues I was talking about in a minute. Judge Cobb being sorority twins or sisters. And I might as well talk about who is this mystery person I'm talking about that I predicted half a year ago. I predicted was really helping and would quietly end up incarcerated probably for the rest of their life in some form, but their reputation would be spared. They more than likely could have suffered. Hi, Miss Mendersu. So, anyway, I put this thumbnail up of Walz, Tim Walz, because Scott Jennings said he was a complete piece of you-know-what. And here's a clip he's talking about why Tim Walz is a complete POS. A complete and utter POS.
You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know, there will be news.
Of course, we all know what he's talking about. Saying they're disappointed that Donald Trump is still with us. And there will be news. There will be news. Just hang in there. My last video was about these lunatics. And so it didn't go unnoticed with Scott Jennings. And on CNN, which I have said they're easing it on board for Truth and Reconciliation. When do you think CNN would ever allow one of their correspondents to talk about a Democrat this way, but it's fully justified.
You had an opportunity to ask the president today about this, and you did not. Why?
Well, because when he got on the phone and sounded very much alive, I thought it would sound kind of stupid, frankly, to ask an alive person if they were dead. But I'll tell you who is a complete piece of shit. I'm going to tell you right now.
There have been a lot of swear words at this table today.
Walz,
okay?
the governor of Minnesota, holding up a phone in front of a rally saying, well, we thought we were going to wake up and find out the president had died. Someday it'll happen. Someday it'll happen. I used to say he was the biggest buffoon in American politics, but it's worse now.
A complete POS. That's what you are, Tim Walz. Let's see if anybody's guessing on who I was talking about. Ha ha, Melinda Marie said, give me a thumbs up. Where's Wayne? Did he make it back in? Oh my. Stuff drags out. Anyway. Here's Midas Trash Pail. Midas Trash Pail. At least they didn't put a horrible picture of them up that's overly colorized. But Midas Trash Pail. Like a 1980s televangelist, Trump is now asking his supporters to send him $15 to help him get to heaven. Have you heard anything about that? Or these people are hallucinating. They're exaggerating. They're making up crapola. Trump doesn't need any help from me to get to heaven after what he's been through and what he's doing for our country. Here's some more hallucinogenics going on. I think this might have been, it's one of these liberal sites that get paid off. Crime festers in Republican states while their troops patrol Washington. Who's wrote this? Let's see. What does it say down here? Haiyan Jiang. Haiyan Jiang. You know, they're from the Jiang family and that from Montana, maybe, right? Or South Dakota. You know, the Yangs. These talking points are probably come straight out of Beijing. And so is probably the pull the plug on Mountain Man. Probably coming straight from Beijing. I'm going to put this up anyway, since I had on my last one, and they took me down. And I'm also going to put up this one that I've had in my studio for a while. Kraut Bisky Social. The funniest thing was a Scottish communist, Malcolm Caldwell, who traveled to Cambodia to praise Pol Pot's regime in 1978. And Pol Pot just had him SHOT. Yeah. You do-gooders. I got in my thumbnail Epstein dump. They're all squealing about the Epstein files, the Epstein files. Oh, they're going to come out. They're going to come out. And it's going to be ugly for these Democrats. And, but the genius thing about it is that the adverse psychology has got all the liberals screaming and yelling for Epstein files after they ignored it for 10 years. When we were talking 7, 8, 9 years ago about the temple on Epstein Island, what happened to the young children? What happened to the kids from Haiti? Where'd the money from the Clinton Foundation go? Where was the money from the Clinton Foundation coming from? Now we're finding out that Epstein helped start the Clinton initiative. Nothing can stop the release of facts of the matter. Let me see if I got any guesses. Hi, Brush. How you doing? Nice to see you. I don't see any guesses. Who did I say was secretly helping the White Hats? And in exchange, their reputation would be saved, but they would live their life out in an incarcerated state. What's this? Dopey liberals. New scary alarm. Adam Mockler. You know this guy. You know he, a good chance he's getting that $8,000 a month. Graham? Lindsay? The other hint that I gave is that he was a former Marine. And I said, don't. They understand the consequences when you are subject to military law. The parallel systems of justice in our nation, civil courts and military law. Remember that, folks. And that he had a classified meeting with Trump and got his marching orders, was given a come to Jesus, in my opinion, come to Jesus meeting, and was activated to help our president. And we know things are happening because Jerry Nadler, one of the architects of the Trump impeachment, out of the blue, Nadler, a pillar of party's old guard, will retire next year. Representative Jerry Nadler, the ex-House Judiciary Chairman who helped lead President Trump's impeachments, will not seek re-election in New York. You know you got to pry these seats of power out of their cold DEAD hands, just like Dianne Feinstein. But no, he's just walking away from it. He's just walking away. We were told to watch the resignations, but on both sides. Both sides. Republican and Democrat. You know, I played a clip at the very beginning of my first video of the new guy on MSNBC, who is I guess we'd call him Karine Jean-Pierre, the male figure wearing the mop head like Karine Jean-Pierre used to wear. But he had on there John Brennan. John Brennan saying how Trump was picking on him, how you can ruin somebody's life. Played the clip where he accused Trump of treason. And that's getting me back to who's going to be the first ones arrested. Flannel cheese, how you doing? Flannel. All right, let me find this picture. Where did it go? We have a winner! We have a winner! You all are my witnesses. I said his name specifically, Robert Mueller. Hello, Judy, how you doing? Miss Mindersue wins a Cupid doll. But I said Robert Mueller, who met with Donald J. Trump when Donald J. Trump ascended to the presidency. He met with him in the Oval Office in a highly classified meeting under the cover of seeing if he could serve as FBI director. After he was well beyond his statutory maximum ×2. He'd already served more time than is generally accepted. The next day, or very shortly thereafter, he was assigned to be the special counsel to impeach Donald J. Trump, to find evidence of Russian collusion. And I said that we haven't seen him, that he was probably under a Fauci-type house arrest, and he was the angel in the room that Trump has referred to. And his reward is to continue breathing. Because when you engage in treason, he may very well have had some text messages stuffed under his nose that we have been told may appear discussing injuring or worse the President of the United States or members of his family. I don't know. He may have been shown bank records concerning Uranium One. I don't know. But he's going to spend the rest of his life in a facility. He's already in one. House Oversight has withdrawn subpoena for Robert Mueller. New report says he has Parkinson's disease. The GOP House Oversight Committee has officially withdrawn its request for Robert Mueller to testify before the panel. Mueller's family told the New York Times he has been battling Parkinson's disease, prohibiting him from coming before Congress. He's already in a nursing home or a medical facility. He's already in a place like that. And I called it. Hi, Smarky, how you doing? Pappy Two Bears, how you doing? Well, a lot of you made it back. That was pretty bad. Pretty bad them kicking me out like that. Very upsetting. So anyway, Greta von Thunberg is just because I want to get these pictures out of my studio. She was yakking about going back to Palestine and putting on a show, and I think I got a video of that. But anyway, the Israelis said they're going to put her in a facility. And I mean prison. So word is they canceled their trip. I don't know if I got a video or not. If I got it, I'll put it up. I got some memes, though, about Greta von Thunberg. Greta von Thunberg. Which one's better? Oh, they look the same to me. I got two of them. Let's see. We're going to put her in a holding facility reserved for terrorists. Find Greta. Here you go. Put this on your meta page. Find Greta. I think she's on the bottom left. Am I right? Ethics, how you doing? Yeah, the Goblin. Jetlag, how are you doing? Hebrew Hammer, nice to see you. So anyway, yeah, that. What I think I have. If I got a video, I'll play it. I think she's waving off her dopey boat, or something. They did a little news story on. Oh, it's such a big deal. Here, you know the left had been going crazy with these J.D. Vance. You know, they got this one stupid picture of J.D. Vance, and they think it upsets people when they mock, J.D. Vance. But we think it's funny. And the best way to deal with it is lean right back into him. You know, we got a sense of humor, and so does J.D. Vance. He's got a sense of humor, too. So anyway, I guess that's Greta's little brother. I don't know what that is. But anyway, so Greta's not going. Greta's not going. "33 years as a woman, 3 years as a man." Yes, as far as who's going to be the first arrest, I think it's going to be Comey or Brennan, in that order. Comey or Brennan. Wasteland ethics, because I got kicked off here. How many times I get kicked off? 2 times or 3 times? And I got to sit here and struggle to get back up. Here you go. I knew I had another Greta von Thunberg meme. Wheels on a shopping cart. Be like. Now, no arguing in the chats. We can all get along. Not everybody agrees with everything, right? That's why God made something else besides vanilla ice cream. Because people like different things, right? Speaking of which, why is this a big deal? Why is this a big deal? I've talked about it in the past. How certain things are going to happen. Kraft and Heinz to split into 2 companies. The 2 famous brands merged a decade ago, creating a $45 billion. The latest in a series of corporate breakups. Who's John Kerry married to? Teresa Heinz Kerry. Y'all remember her? Y'all remember her? I'm a sexy woman. Teresa Heinz Kerry. I know it's a gross memory, but I got to bring it up. In the past, not too far long ago past, about antitrust laws, right? Monopolies are going to get busted up. And when you got like Kraft and Heinz coming together, pushing out the little guy, trying to put their products out. And they did it voluntarily. There was more than one come to Jesus meeting, okay, than Robert Mueller. people are playing ball. And John Kerry put out a statement very positive about Trump. I had a copy of it about 2 weeks ago, but I never got to get around to that point. So, yeah, they're voluntarily complying with the law. We have media voluntarily putting up stories and comments that they never would have let go up in the past. Some of this stuff baffles me, like Trump putting out a truth about Woody Allen. Woody Allen saying nice things about him and saying he would direct Trump again. Bill Maher couldn't stand Trump. Bill Maher with his devil outfit, red shoes and a cane and a top hat, remember that? And was afraid he was end up in glazing Trump. Yes, I've seen the movie Valkyrie with Tom Cruise. I most certainly did, but I can't read the chats every second. Okay, I check them as I go so I keep my train of thought going. I'm a one-man band putting out information damn near every day. So what do you want to know about Valkyrie? Don't check. No Googling. No Googling. What was the name of the general? What was the name of the officer that led Valkyrie? What was the name of the officer? Don't Google it. Out of your head right now, since we're demanding answers. And for those of you who are wondering what that's about, Valkyrie was about a coup against Adolf in the waning years of World War II. It was called Operation Valkyrie. And this when a officer placed a bomb under the conference table at the Wolf's Lair in East Prussia. So anyway, here is Woody Allen. And the bomb did blow up, but Hitler survived. And it was right around that time when he rescued Mussolini from the mountaintop resort they had imprisoned him in Italy. And it was a very short time thereafter. It was all over. But anyway, here is Woody Allen talking about how he enjoyed working with Trump. And what puzzles me is, Bill Maher is a very suspect person as far as his dealings with young people. And Woody Allen took off with his minor adopted child, if you remember that. So are they all coming around to minimize? Are they rendering material assistance in this psychological warfare? So they end up like Robert Mueller. You have your reputation, you have your level of comfort, but you're going to be incarcerated for the rest of your life or a significant amount of time.
He was a pleasure to work with and a very good actor. He was very polite and hit his mark and did everything correctly and had a real flair for show business.
If you think you were canceled before,
I could direct him now. If he would let me, if he would let me direct him now that he's president, I think I could do wonders. But he was very easy to work with and
he's different in person. And when you say that, people who are just purely emotional get very upset, even though it's just the truth. We're just saying the truth.
Yeah, that's called glazing. They're glazing Trump. And it's for a purpose as far as I'm concerned. They're given a role to play because the bottom line is they're both criminals. Yes, Hebrew got all the names right. You didn't goggle it, did you? General Beck. After several attempts to end his own existence. And Fromm ended up in a prison for till the final weeks of the war. And he ended up facing the executioner, even though he thought he was going to wiggle out of it. Stauffenberg was the one-eyed. He had a patch over his eye. He was injured very badly. After D-Day, when the Allies landed, same time the Desert Fox got blown up and spent some time in the hospital. All right, you know your history. That's great. But ethics is right. That is a true story. And if y'all ever get a chance, watch the movie Valkyrie. It's got dramatic flair put in there, but there are 5,000 people at least rounded up who lost their lives for participating in Operation Valkyrie. And there's a lot of side stories to it. Like what happened to Rommel. Rommel was forced to take a cyanide pill. But he was given a funeral with honors, and the public was told that he died from his injuries after his staff car was strafed, leaving the front after D-Day. So they suspected him of being a part of the attempt to overthrow Hitler, and they said, look, you go ahead and take your pill. We'll spare your family. We'll spare your reputation. And that didn't come out till after the war. And his son, Manfred, became mayor of Stuttgart. So what are you trying to say, ethics? You trying to say, I don't get it? God saved Hitler. But why? He didn't save him from himself. People can talk about Argentina all they want. Hitler was a narcissist, and he was a homicidal, suicidal maniac. He was a genius. But there was no way he was going to live without being number one. But that's another story. ethics, you got to exercise your mind a little bit better. Trump was not der Fuhrer. He wasn't the president. He was a civilian running for office. And this was not where they were trying to unseat him. They already achieved that. Do me a favor, when you put that name in there, use a 1 for an I, H1TLER, because you keep putting that name in here, it's going to flag my channel. Okay, so I got to take your comment down. And I'm just going to say, when you put names in there like that, because of YouTube's trust and safety, you can't keep putting that name in there, and that's just their rules, not mine. So use H1TLER. H1TLER. But anyway, a lot of people think that Trump is here to help restore sanity to what is happening in our country, rather than the people that have taken the steering wheel. Oh, Miss Vinderser, you're all right, honey. The other ethics put his name in like 3 times. And that's when the algorithm zeroes in on your channel. If you keep putting in Adolf's last name over and over again, they sniff around you. So, whoa, where's my studio? Here it is. No, a lot of people feel Trump is going to restore sanity. We're living in an insane world. And they've gotten there through chicanery. They've gotten there where they're at through subterfuge. They've gotten there through foreign interference. They maintain their power using subterfuge, just like having 9 states of this union with 0 Republicans representing the people in the House of Representatives. 9 states do not have 1 Republican. And everybody's known about it. How the hell is that proper representation of the American people? Ilhan Omar's net worth went from $51,000 to $30 million in 1 year. It's time to investigate how this happened. Don't you agree? Again, paint the Trump. And also her right to be in this country needs to be checked out, along with Rashida Tlaib. Rashida Tlaib is sounding very insurrection-y. How do we have? Is this her? How do we have only 435 or so congressional seats? How do we have such a huge percentage of them in a country of 340 million people? How do we have such a huge percent of 435 of people that weren't even born in this country and constantly agitate for foreign interests? A language warning here by the wonderful Rashida Tlaib. What a frozen picture that is.
Look at this rooms, motherfuckers. We ain't going anywhere. Political structures that I have to work in, that we all are surrounded by, was built on slavery and genocide and rape and oppression. Real change doesn't come from the cowards and warmongers in Congress. It comes from the streets. It comes from all of us mobilizing and seizing the power to resist and fight back. Gaza is the compass in this country. Now we're in Congress, and we're every corner of the United States.
Yeah, the Palestine state. Oh, yeah, we're all worried about that. Take your ass over there and stay over there. Okay? We have a lot of foreign influence in this country, and a lot of people in holding office that should not be holding office. Judgeships are infested with foreign influence. Hi, Hammer of Gods. How you doing? I got Hebrew Hammer and Hammer of Gods. What is going on here? Why don't you like? Nobody said anything about your name. I don't know. I don't see it. Don't, if there's, you don't have to react to every. I don't see where anybody bothered you at all. I mean, don't come in and get in arguments. You're welcome here, and I think you'll enjoy it here. Just don't be sensitive and watch which words you use that would make the algorithm jump up and down. Speaking of foreign influence, now see, they're going to hang their hat on this right here. Midas Trash Pail Network. They're going to hang their hat on Trump getting a plane from Dubai. Remember? Here you have Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom receives free Canadian Boeing 747. Free Canadian Boeing 747. What's the difference? He's the governor of a state. He cannot interact with foreign powers concerning how he manages his state or exercises his governorship and his relationship with the federal government. Trump can interact with foreign affairs and accept a remittance to the government of whatever he wants that's in the nation's best interest. This is foreign influence of a governor. It's okay, Miss Minister. I sometimes you can't see it, but I took a couple down, so mentioning it once isn't bad. But thank you for looking out for the channel. I appreciate it. So anyway, yeah, maybe it's Gavin Newsom will be the first arrest. I don't know. Maybe it'll be somebody with the press. Kristi Noem put this out. I'm sure you all seen it, where they removed her description of Gilmar Abrego Garcia, where they're all saying he was just a hardworking union man. And why are you picking on him? And why are you illegally deporting him? Which is all BS. But anyway, they edited out her response.
And the one thing that we will continue to do is to make sure that he doesn't walk free in the United States of America. This individual was a known human smuggler, a MS-13 gang member, an individual who was a wife beater, and someone who was so perverted that he solicited nude photos from minors. And even his fellow human traffickers told him to knock it off. He was so sick in what he was doing and how he was treating small children. So he needs to never be in the United States of America, and our administration is making sure we're doing all that we can to bring him to justice.
Yeah, maybe it'll be a member of the press will be the first one to go to jail. Somebody's going to jail. I don't get your point, ethics. Which man is honored in Germany? Just answer that. Who the hell's afraid? I'm not afraid of any damn thing. My mother was 8 years old when Adolf put a bullet in his head, and she saw stuff no human being should ever have to see as an 8-year-old little girl. So don't tell me about anything about German history. You answer the question, or I'm just going to quit fooling with you and just send you somewhere else. Because you're not engaging with the flow of the broadcast here. You're babbling about some. I've seen the movie Valkyrie. I've already told you that. I've seen it 3 times. What you need to do is read Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. I've read that twice. So I asked you a question. What man is honored in Germany? And you never answered it. What man is honored in Germany? I mean, am I dealing with somebody like this? Right here, Gavin Newsom. I mean, what's going on with this guy? What is going on with you, ethics? You won't answer a question when somebody asks you a simple question. What man is honored in Germany? Hello, ethics, where are you? For some reason, I've got Corinne John Pierre in here. Look, I don't know what was this about. I got a copy of this. Don't forget, folks, I told you all I was down there in New Orleans. I was all down the East Coast, all across the Southern coast when Katrina hit, and multiple other storms, Ivan 1, Ivan 2. I was down through all that kind of stuff. And now FEMA workers are sounding the alarm. Let me tell you, yeoman's work. Now, FEMA did their thing. They did their thing. And there's hard-working people in FEMA. But I tell you, the Baptist Men, it's an organization, church organization, where they were around. If somebody, little old lady's driveway got washed out or her roof had a hole in it, they were there way before anybody else to fix that kind of stuff all over the place. The Baptist Men. And they did it all with volunteer money. So let's see what this guy's crying about.
In with President Trump's authoritarian ambitions. In an exclusive new interview with the Daily Caller, Trump was asked whether he'd be comfortable seeing former FBI Director James Comey and former CIA Director John Brennan arrested live on television as part of his administration's new focus on the Russia election interference investigation. His response would not bother me at all. That attitude, punishing perceived enemies while rewarding devotees, is exactly what we're seeing across the federal government.
Well, listen, fella, they committed crimes, and they used lies and half-truths and exaggerations to try to unseat the president of the United States and vilify people that voted Republican. Okay, so they're criminals, so they have to go to jail. Okay? Corinne John Pierre. I'm weak. So anyway, yeah, we think Trump is in the picture to get rid of this corruption, this media that is just an arm of the Democrat Party, pushing Democrat talking points, misconstruing the Constitution actually says. Because you have people like this, wait a minute, you have people like this in government that push for children to be operated on, for children to be injected with hormones. Who is this woman? Here she is. Michigan State Representative Lori Pohutsky tells kids on TikTok she can help them access sex change treatments after University of Michigan announced they will stop offering sex changes to kids. Now, see, she's criminally insane. The PSYOPs have worked on her to the point where she is engaging with children on lewd and lascivious subjects and encouraging them to harm themselves physically and psychologically. She belongs in a hospital for the criminally insane, okay? But somehow she's a representative.
In light of the announcement from U of M that they would be ending gender-affirming care for those under 19, I wanted to just make a couple of things clear for people here in Michigan. Firstly, trans healthcare is still legal here in Michigan for everyone. There was no change in law that spurred this decision by the University of Michigan, only their own cowardice. There are people currently working tirelessly to fill the gaps created by this decision, and I would strongly encourage people to follow Equality Michigan for updates and resources. I also want to say unequivocally that gender-affirming care is essential and supported by science. So anyone who came here to spew nonsense in the comments section can go argue with the wall. I am not the one, and I do not give a damn. I have spent my entire time in the Michigan House supporting and passing legislation to protect trans Michiganders, and that isn't going to stop.
Well, we get rid of mail-in voting. We get rid of illegals voting. We get rid of a lot of the methods you all use to get yourselves in office. And you can go talk to the wall, Missy. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I must be a strong mountain man. Yeah, that's right. You know, I'll get back to the subject about the criminally insane predatory behavior with children in a minute. But Zohran Mamdani lost ground. Andrew Cuomo is passing him in the polls. And he's another one that's going to avoid the ultimate punishment by playing ball. But anyway, the reason he lost ground was because of his push-up, his efforts to do a bench press. And remember I said I could do, well, maybe it wasn't quite 130 pounds, but I could do over 100 pounds with a one-arm snatch. I could deadlift 100 pounds over my head from the ground with one arm back in the day. So yes, I am a strong mountain man, or I was. I'm an old man now, but I could still, I'm sure I could twist somebody's nose if I had to and give them noogies and make them wish they never caused a problem with me. So anyway, so Trump is going to be getting rid of what we just saw there and restore some respect for life instead of having the media push the bag of cells argument that it's okay to take your 10-year-old and give him some doctor, some ghoul who's getting government money to surgically affect your kids. And here's a 21-year-old. I believe she's 21. What is this? Here she is. University of Kentucky student arrested after her baby was found deceased in a trash bag inside a closet. 21-year-old Laken Snelling has been charged with abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. So this is the point that our society has degraded to. This is degradation. Let me see here. Here, let me play her little TikTok video. And remember what she did. She put her kid in a trash bag. Ended the child's life.
What'd you do?
Yeah, that's a ghoul right there, a ghoul. Now, they didn't use the M word when they charge her, but maybe they will down the road. Here, Jerry Nadler. I was looking for this earlier when I talked about Jerry Nadler giving up his seat. Jerry Nadler forced to retire from Congress after being fully consumed by his own pants. Disgusting. These people are disgusting. And how they end up getting into office, especially the one I played. Here's the kind, who would do this to a child? Well, let me find it. Who would do this to a child? And who is pushing, who's paying the media? Who's feeding them these talking points? I'll have to find it. It's a rather disturbing picture. But no, that's not the way Americans want this country to be. And it's going to change. And there's people that broke the law. Here you go. Who would do this to a child and call themselves a doctor? Who would go around encouraging kids to do this to themselves? Criminals. That's who do it. Ghouls. Well, if you can't, I don't know what you want. I'm not a dancing bear. I'm not going to a weak channel. Yeah, okay. You made about it. We're going to throw you a birthday party, and I'm going to rent a phone booth and invite all your friends. So you got plenty of room for you and all your friends in a phone booth. Yeah, and even Adolf had a few friends. Even Adolf had a few friends. Doing better than you're doing, the way you treat people. I'm sure. Oh, here's a story about Greta von Thunberg. Israel hatches plan to throw Greta Thunberg in a terror cell. We're all Palestine. She got her shirt. Swedish activists on board Gaza-bound flotilla. Oh, Greta von Thunbergs. Wait a minute. I'm trying to find out where I was at. Oh, what is this one? Here we go. This is real. People wonder, why aren't young men, how come people aren't getting married? Look at this. Tell me this TikToker right here isn't going to get checked out. Suit wants to go after Cartel. I would love for him to FAFO. Y'all have no idea how big cartels are, and they do not play like the military. And she's giggling. Well, your little rear end is going to be heading for the border. Because, we have to take a look at this birthright citizenship. If since the 1960s, we have been unlawfully granting citizens to children of people with an unlawful presence, we might have to put some conditions on them. Because I don't want this person being part of this country, making fun of the military and hoping they get defeated. In other words, lose their lives to a criminal element. Are you a fake citizen? Here's Trump had a press conference about these boneheads here. It looks to be about a 28-foot boat, maybe 25 if you count the engines, maybe 30 foot from stem to stern, as they say. So anyway, what, young lady, what do you got to say about your cartels now? Boy, I timed that pretty good, didn't I? I timed that one pretty good. I'll start that again. I almost got it right when the thing hit. Wait a minute. There we go. Do-de-do-de-do. We're running drugs. Don't mind us. We're just bringing some fentanyl in. We don't care about Trump. Doop-de-doop-de-doo. Doop-de-doop-de-doo. Do-do-de-doo-do-de-doo-do-do. Pow! I got him. I got him. Bye-bye, birdie. Bye-bye. Oh, you're somebody, ethics. Don't worry about it. You take things too seriously. You ought to just relax. I was trying to make a bird fly by, and it doesn't want to do it. It makes me mad. Just a big pain in the butt. But anyway, there we go. There's my bird. So anyway, here's what you need, ethics. Let me show you what you need. Let me find it for you. Here you go. Sure, I think this is it. Let me see if this is the right one. There you go. This is for you, ethics. Okay? Relax and pay attention.
Let me share some of the biggest lessons I've learned from a lifetime spent building dreams. First, if you think that you're too young to do something great, let me tell you that you are wrong. You're not too young. In America, with drive and ambition, young people can do anything. Second of all, and very importantly, you have to love what you do. I rarely see somebody that's successful that doesn't love what he or she does. Third thing is to think big. You know, you're going to do something, you might as well think big, because it's just as hard to solve a small problem as a big problem, and it's just as much energy and everything else, except the result is going to be a smaller one. So love what you do, but think big. Fourth is work hard. Work hard. Fifth is don't lose your momentum. You just want to keep it going, and you have to know if you are losing it, you have to know when you're losing it, so maybe you stop, and maybe it's time to stop. Number six, if you want to change the world, you have to have the courage to be an outsider. In other words, you have to take certain risks and do things a little bit differently. Otherwise, if that weren't the case, everybody would be successful. Number seven is to trust your instincts, common sense. You can go very far in life with common sense. Eighth, everybody should believe in the American dream. It's real, it's there, and it's right before you. Ninth, think of yourself as a winner. The power of positive thinking. In recent years, too many of our young people have really been taught to think of themselves as victims. But in America, we reject that idea that anyone is born a victim. Our heroes are the ones who take charge of their own destiny despite the odds. And next is to be an original. The all-time greats were people who had the confidence to be a little different. God only created one of you, so don't try to be someone else. Finally, and most importantly, never, ever give up. I've learned that perseverance is everything, so whatever happens, no matter where you are in life, stay optimistic and just keep pushing forward. Never let anyone tell you that something is impossible. Ever, ever, ever. In America, the impossible is what we all do best.
There you go. You're welcome, Debbie. There you go, ethics. You just watch that a few times and cogitate on your life. What's Jerry saying here? Bots like me. I don't know if he's a bot. If he is, who cares? I mean, it's inanimate object. To how other people view the situation. Here's Rudy Giuliani. I got this screenshot of him. I guess you all heard that he got very badly hurt in a car wreck where he was helping a motorists that apparently were having some kind of domestic violence thing going on, and his car got rear-ended, and it's good to see him up. It was good to watch his broadcast. I turned it on right when he was describing what happened and the extent of his injuries, but hey, he's upright, and he is thinking clearly and still rocking and rolling. So Donald Trump said he was, here it is. Is this where Trump said, oh, no, this is a thing about Chicago. Hey, the National Guard's coming whether they like it or not. I'll put that up in a minute. But he's going to put Rudy up for the for the Presidential Medal of Honor. Oh, it's so small reading these things. Let me see what he's got here. Oh, that's Woody Allen wants to direct Donald Trump. I already went over that. Where he's talking about how easy going he is and how easy it is to do movies with him. Let's see if this is the right one. Oh, without tariffs, all the trillions of dollars we've already taken in, our country would be completely destroyed, and our military power would be instantly obliterated in a 7-4 opinion. I meant to read this one to you guys the other day. A radical left group of judges didn't care, but one Democrat, Obama appointed, actually voted to save our country. I would like to thank him for his courage. He loves and respects the USA. I have to find out who that judge is. That was, I think, a big deal that he publicly thanked that judge. But anyway, let's see where Trump is putting Rudy up for the, oh, this is clandestine. I'll get to him in a minute. Let's see. Oh, this is about the boat. Early this morning, on my orders, U.S. military forces conducted a kinetic strike against positively identified Nicaragua narco-terrorists in the Southcom area of responsibility. So, little girl, what do you got to say, giggling about your cartels? TDA is a designated foreign terrorist organization operating under the control of Nicolas Maduro, responsible for mass red rum, drug trafficking, S3X trafficking, and acts of violence and terror across the United States and Western Hemisphere. The strike occurred while terrorists were at sea, in international waters, transporting illegal narcotics, heading to the United States. The strike resulted in 11 terrorists unalived in action. No U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. Please let this serve as notice to anyone even thinking about bringing drugs to the United States of America. Beware! Thank you for your attention to this matter. I was thinking about what would an 1864 newspaper headline, Judge orders Lincoln to surrender at Gettysburg. General Grant promptly hangs the judge. That's what would happen. That's what would happen. Trump is taking care of business that is none of the judge's business, and that's going to get all straightened out according to law. Clandestine said Trump confirmed we're going in. When asked about sending National Guard troops to Chicago, Trump says, I didn't say when we're going in, but we're going in. Unless Pritzker Johnson cooperate, this will require declaring a national emergency and invoking the Insurrection Act. Trump has been indirectly threatening to do this for weeks now. But one way or the other, Trump will use the National Guard, federal law enforcement to clean up Chicago and presumably other Democrat crime-ridden cities as well. Trump has a legal authority to do so, and the Dems' obstruction of the law fits the legal criteria of insurrection. It's not a matter of if Trump will strike, but it's a matter of when. This entire thing has been a soft disclosure. It's happening. And that's what we have been saying here on this channel for a long time. The pill has to be easy to swallow. Trash Bail Network. Federal judge rules Trump's employment in National Guard in Los Angeles is illegal. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't SCOTUS just say that he can take over the National Guard and kicked out Newsom's lawsuit? Isn't that already stare decisis? Here he is, gruesome Newsom right here. California Governor Gavin Newsom released a statement praising federal judge for ruling in President Trump's deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles violated federal law. Well, that is a judge's opinion, not a court's opinion. A judge, a singular judge, who, if he's conniving and colluding, remember, FISA warrants work both ways. I wouldn't be surprised at him getting removed from the bench. Because Alito already put out a warning. And I think he put out a hint as to something happening to these judges who rule contrary to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the final word in the judiciary system. And he said there has to be consequences for these judges that violate Supreme Court rulings. So that may be opening the door for a lawful removal of these judges who are interfering with the office of the executive. Here's Trump. Let's see what he's saying here. Let's see. I've got a couple of clips of Trump. Let's see what he's saying here.
So I want to thank you all for being here for this important announcement, 7 years in the making. As you know, this has been going on for a long period of time, and I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama, we love Alabama.
Rocket City, ha ha, Rocket City. Yeah, what's going on in the chats here? Nobody can figure out what you're even talking about. Ethics. Thank you for stopping by and giving your opinions, but I don't know what you want to see happen in this world. What do you want to see happen in this world? Here you see Trump surrendering his office.